It's time for some post-season action here on Piedmont University Athletics on YouTube. Simon Johnson here with Matt Gajowski for a first-round matchup in the CCS quarterfinals between your Piedmont University Lions and the Berea College Mountaineers. Matt, this is quite an exciting matchup. Both teams come in with the same record. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, if there's one thing that I have seen play out in both of the games that these two teams have played each other in the regular season, we're going to see a plethora of errors. Okay, we're going to see more errors than maybe we see from a jellyfish doing a math test. I'm not sure. But I will say this for certain. This is going to be all about who capitalizes on the mistakes of their opponent. So far, the Lions are 2-0 this season against Berea. And so my money's on them as far as their ability to capitalize on the mistakes of their opponent. It's just going to be all about who's going to be the most concise with their serves, their attacks, who is going to make sure that they get the clean receptions off their opposing serves. There's a lot of variables going into this, but all in all, this should be a very tightly contested game. Both games have gone to 5 sets so far.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Two grueling 5-setters between these two teams during the regular season. Historically speaking, it's all netted up at 7 apiece. Both teams come in 7-7 against each other in the history. 3-3 inside of Cave Arena. So it's about as much as a coin toss as you can ask for. The Lions, as you mentioned, Matt, do have the edge from the regular season to gritty wins. And yeah, error is one of the main storylines and one of the biggest takeaways during the regular season for the Lady Lions. But they're coming in on a bit of a better stretch than the Mountaineers. Mountaineers come in on a 5-match losing streak, but very identical records. So when it comes to postseason action, it really boils down to who wants it more and who's going to recover quicker. So a lot of high-flying, interesting action coming up very soon as we'll quickly get to the starting lineups before the first serve.
Out there right now for the Lions, it'll be the freshman of the year for the CCS. Speaking of high-flying, the stats have been high-flying for Miss Kaylee Ashcraft in the service department, leading the team and leading all of D3 in aces with 84. Also out there is Vanessa Manzo, Jessica Sconyers, Katie Hubbard, Jaya Weathersby, and Jenna Ash.
We'll try to get you Mountaineers as we look at the jersey numbers out there. Looks to be number 3, Diana De La Torre, number 18, Julie Santana, as well as number 12, Hannah Martin. Additionally, alongside those are number 25, Alexis McCullough. We saw one sub in for the libero. That's going to be Brenda, Davila. And finally, number 5 is going to be Adaimo Ayala Rivera. Both teams coming in off a little bit of not much momentum, but it's postseason action here. Vanessa Manzo back to serve for the first point in CCS playoff action. Good serve there. Going to find the hands of one of the Mountaineer setters. Tip going to be called for a throw here. Actually, a lift, rather. Quick error going to be pinned on Rivera. Lady Lions jump out to a 1-0 lead.
Already, right off the bat, we see an error resulting in the first point of this match.
Manzo back again. She's been one of the more consistent servers on this squad. Ball going to be received there by De La Torre. Set outside to number 18, Santana. Manzo out to Ash. That combination's been working, and how about that? Getting those two going early is going to be key to a strong start here. Jenna Ash, one of the most powerful hitters, arguably in all of the CCS.
And with that power comes a huge ask for those middle blockers up front. And you saw right there the ricochet going into the stands for the point.
Manzo on that serve. First service error of the night for the team. Something that's been a big problem and big concern for the Lady Lions.
Yeah, the service errors have been a tremendous issue, and that's part of the reason why the errors overall have been an issue. So those are just free points that we're giving away. Service there by McCullough. Can be received well. Manzo setting Weathersby. Good tip up by the Mountaineers, keeping the play alive. De La Torre dumps it over the top of Manzo on the block, and Herman, although CCS libero of the year, player of the year, unable to get that one. 2-2 all knotted up here. Back to serve once again. McCullough. Manzo struggling to get that one. Finds Ash for a good attack there. Into the hands of Rivera, who looks outside. Good dig by Herman. Ashcraft now setting up Hubbard. Hubbard on the wing. Not to be a little bit wide there. Good scramble by the Lions, but unable to really get in system just yet. Yeah, Katie Hubbard was going for the attack there, just a little too far long. Couldn't find it in between those side margins. And could be the story of the night already. Second service error of the match, first for the Mountaineers. McCullough
finding essentially the same spot as Manzo, middle of the net, and we have our first substitution here. Mary Grace Shaw going to check in for Katie Hubbard.
We're looking at 6 points right there on the scoreboard, 4 of them coming off of errors.
Tip short, gonna beat the outstretched hands of Vanessa Manzo de la Torre with the first kill for her up front.
That was honestly just a perfectly placed ball right over the top of the middle blockers, and it was just too far out front, and Vanessa Manzo trying to get there with a diving effort, unable to do so.
Good reception by Herman, and how about that, the freshman Kaylee Ashcraft. She has got over 200 kills this season. This freshman has had one of the greatest freshman campaigns we've seen in a while, obviously holding on to that Freshman Player of the Year award for the CCS, and once again just showcasing her immense talent there. Herman on the service, going to be received. Tip down and in, just avoiding the blockers essentially. Jessica Sconier's solo block there, going to get passed right through, and it looks like the middle hitters thus far not really going for a full swing, more of placement touches. Most of their kills thus far have been more of a placement strategy than power, which essentially juxtaposes what we've seen from the Lions this season.
That last kill came from Brenda Davila. You need to keep an eye on her. She is second on the team in kills with 176, only behind Julie Santana, who has 241. Keep an eye on those two. They put a lot of punch behind those attacks up front.
Sconier's tip received well, looked inside once again. No dice there for Davila on the middle set. A little bit of an awkward short ball for the setter, number 11, Brianna Negron Torres, and not really sure about the decision to set middle there.
I don't know. The set did seem a little bit high, and maybe Davila had a little bit of mistimed jump going for that one. It seemed like she seemed to attacking that one out as she was coming back down to earth, but when you're doing that, all your momentum's going down, and so as a result, the attack goes down, goes into the side of the net.
Matt, you may have set us up for a plethora of errors here tonight. Another error there, rather.
I'm telling you, I paid
foul
attention.
on Vanessa Manzo.
Attention.
Manzo going to be called for a net violation there, granting the Mountaineers their first lead of the night, 6-5. They lead here. Ashcraft tips to keep that one alive and finds the campfire inside of all the Mountaineers. Witty play there to just keep it up and in, and Ashcraft going to get herself another kill.
What happens when you get the log, a fresh log in the campfire? Things get hot. The Lions starting to heat up a little bit, even it up at 6.
Someone you don't want to see behind the baseline, Kaylee Ashcraft, second in the NCAA and aces heading into this matchup. We know she can rack them up quick. Jenna Ash going to dig this one out to Manzo, who sets up Katie Hubbard. Big swing on the outside, going to get herself on the board. Lions jump ahead 7-6 here, and this front row combination of Sconiers and Hubbard, with Manzo also playing up top, is so threatening with how much power between those two hitters.
I mean, my goodness, that was just fearsome. I don't have other words to describe that other than fearsome.
Fleming on the attack, going to be picked up well by the Lady Lions. Hubbard going to roll this one short. Dug up and played in for Torres, and deep swing there. Going to hail long. Another attacking error there. Goodness me, Matt. Interesting start. Obviously need to sharpen up a bit with the attacks overall, but it looks like the Lions are staying aggressive, which is something we've kind of been concerned about every now and then with these Lady Lions team. Manzo going to tip that one over. No dice there on the kill. Angle swing by Vanessa Remick. Going to be good. Katie Hubbard not able to react quick enough there. Mountaineers back and forth affair thus far. 8-7 they lead.
Manzo was going for the dump over the top of the net, but she goes for that option a lot. The problem is that when you go for that and you rely on that as a means to rack up points, the other team starts to expect it. It's no longer a surprise.
Katie Hubbard gets herself another kill and kissed the net there to get over the blockers of the Mountaineers. Knotted up at 8. The scoreline is Sconiers back to serve. The elected middle for the server. Of course, Herman's going to serve likely for Withersby here. Dug well and set immediately, almost kept alive by Ash and Ashcraft, but unfortunately, little too slow there. Another kill on the board for Hannah Martin. My goodness, she's been active early.
Ashcraft just tried to find a way to tip that up and keep it alive for the time being, but I don't know, just the way that ball had some kind of spin off of Jenna Ash, just not able to get a solid enough setup.
Rivera back to serve. Good serve received by Ash, looking for Manzo, finds her. Weathersby in the middle, gonna be tipped, kept alive. Another tip by Berea, big dig by Herman, set outside to Hubbard. Hubbard on the swing, just a little wide. Couldn't snap the wrist, seemed a little bit behind her on that set. A little bit of a miscommunication potentially between Manzo and Hubbard. Mountaineers lead by 2, 10-8. Served by Rivera, good. Ash, Manzo out to Hubbard again. Long once again, Katie Hubbard, 2 back-to-back errors, and we're going to see the first timeout call here by the Lady Lions. They only trail by 3. You like the early timeout here, Matt?
I do like the early timeout. You could tell Katie Hubbard's getting a little bit frustrated after, 3 straight attacking errors? Seemed like 2 or 3, but regardless, you could tell it's starting to get in their heads a little bit. They're down early in this set, and these sets have been tightly contested all season long between these two teams. It's going to be a long, drawn-out game, and this is just a good chance for Jamie McCormack to just talk to her team and just kind of get them back set, get them back to ground level, and just say, hey, we know who we are. We know what our identity is as an offense and as a defense, and we know what it takes to generate points, and we know what it takes to win against this team. So all we need to do is find a way to get out of our heads and just do that. Be natural. Play our game the way that we play it, and the points should come.
And as any Lions volleyball fans will know, the sport is full and essentially a game of runs. One team gets hot, you just got to figure out how to shut it down and get on one yourself. And I like the early timeout as well, Matt, to kind of calm everyone down. You know, postseason action, some nerves are usually a little bit higher. You get a little bit more emotionally involved. And
we're talking about the first postseason game here at Cave Arena in at least 4 years. So this is a humongous deal. I could say this is the first game that I've ever worked in postseason play here at the Cave for women's volleyball. This is an exciting time in the Cave. Everyone's a little bit restless.
Bad pass by Ashcraft, going to force Manzo into an uncomfortable set. That's going to hit the antenna for an error there. Rivera seemed to be hanging out on the baseline quite a while, even though she is the setter for the Mountaineers. Lady Lions trying to get a side out here and shut down this run. Heavy serve by Rivera, received by Ash. Herman and Manzo collide, and Hubbard just going to roll that one over. Rivera looks outside once again. Deep ball, going to be called out. Hitting error once again, my goodness. Just neither team really able to generate a full-on attack. Santana that time going to be pegged with the hitting error.
I will say it was a great decision by that back row for the Lady Lions to let that one go. It's a free point for them, and it swings the momentum as now Manzo, as you mentioned earlier, one of the most consistent servers back to serve it and dish it out for the Lions.
Rivera looking in the middle for Martin. Martin going to get it through the hands of Weathersby, and Martin is clearly enemy number 1 if you're a Lady Lions volleyball fan. She is, I believe, up to 3 kills thus far and doesn't show any signs of slowing down.
Gotta keep an eye on Hannah Martin, 6 foot, one of the tallest players out there on the floor, one of the tallest out there for Berea. She is a tremendous presence up front with kills and blocks.
Speaking of tremendous presences, Jenna Ash would like to reintroduce herself. Great kill there, tooling it off the hands of the middle blocker and gets herself another kill. Mary Grace Shaw going to check in once again. Back to serve. Good serve there, received well by the Mountaineers. Rivera outside, does it get over the net? No, and that's going to be another point for the Lions. Lions now getting a little bit hot. De La Torre, the one on the attack. Just a little too low to get it over the net there, and Mary Grace Shaw. You have a lot of consistent servers on this roster. It's just there are a couple that hit these lulls.
Yeah, the lulls can get you for sure. But, you know, it's all about really kind of trying to find a way to get back up and wake up, if you will. And right now, the Lions, this is a good chance to wake up. You got a couple of back-to-back points off of some errors by your opponent. This is the chance now to strike back, and right now they're doing that in a big way.
Gritty point here going on. Jenna Ash on the attack, going to be dug up by Rivera. Sets out. Pass by Cora. Intended and in for number 18 on the Mountaineer, Santana. It was a gritty point. Blocks on both sides, just unable to really put one away for the Lions as they struggled to get in system. Mountaineers up 14-11 here in the first set. And if there's one thing we've learned about the Lady Lions, it's winning a first set is so big for them.
It really is huge because that's how you set the pace for the entire rest of the game. We have seen a couple of instances with this Berea team. They were down 2-0 after just playing a 5-set match, and they came back and won the next 3 sets to win the match. So this is a team that you cannot take your eyes off, no matter how much of a lead you have. So getting that lead and getting it early is just a great way to build some momentum and just build some confidence early on.
Mary Grace Shaw lets it go through her hands. And yeah, it is. I thought for a second they changed the call, but nope. Taylor Herman.
Wise decision. It's a good thing she let it go through her hands there.
Good eyes there. Herman back to serve. Lets it drop in. Mountaineers nearly had a miscommunication there. De La Torre tries to tip it, takes Manzo out of the situation. Looks for Ash on the right side. Ash gets it through the block. Rivera now looking back row. Back row attack, good. Herman keeps it alive. Is anyone there to catch it? Yes, Manzo to Herman. Oh my goodness. How about that for a scramble play? Mountaineers looking to continue. De La Torre right on Herman. Herman with another dig. Ashcraft now on the outside, rolls it over. De La Torre gets it up, out to Rivera. One more time, Santana with the roll. Herman, she's getting everything here. Out in the middle of Scaniers. Manzo gets it back up. Herman out wide, this time to Ash. Ash on the tool, and that's going to be a kill for the Lions. You talk about gritty.
That rally was electrifying. Listen to that crowd right now, Simon Johnstone. I'm feeling it with them. I got chills going down my arms right now. This is monumental.
That's how you build momentum. Score knotted up 14-all in the first. Herman served good, and dirty little back set by Rivera caught the Lady Lions completely off guard, and that's going to be a good point there by the Mountaineers.
Never underestimate the power of a good back set, my friend. One of the players on this Lions team, Brooklyn Gunn, she is a specialist at that back set. It sets the entire team off. It's very hard to read a set and make a play off of where the ball is going. And so when you're a middle blocker, it's really hard to make a read when you're expecting a set to go one way. It ends up going the opposite.
Ashcraft's attack going to hang a little bit too long in the air, and that's going to be wide for an attacking error. 16-14 now, the score. Back to serve. Looks like Torres for the Mountaineers. Manzo outside, back set. Jenna Ash. It may be her senior season, but my goodness, is she putting on a campaign here in the postseason.
What a lot of pop behind that one. That one. What more can you do as a defender? There's not much more you can do there.
Janash, a threatening serve, going to go just a bit wide. Surprised the Mountaineers let that one go, but good eyes overall by the ladies in white as it sails out for a service error. De La Torre now back to serve for the Mountaineers.
I mean, it just missed the back molecules of that adhesive of a painter's tape, if you will. Very close. And that's going to be an illegal set on Manzo. So just another error, another costly point that just keeps the momentum going for Berea right now, and it just extends the lead here late in set number one.
It's getting to crunch time here in set number one. You're absolutely right, Matt. Short serve, De La Torre. Herman says thank you very much. Out to Manzo, behind Scaniers. Just going to have to roll that one over. Back set outside to the lefty. That's going to be Fleming. Manzo out to Ashcraft. Love this combo. Good attack there, and unfortunately not able to get it up was Torres for the Mountaineers, but fortunately for the Lions, they're back on the board here. Ashcraft grabs that kill and heads back to serve.
Kaylee Ashcraft, or as I like to call her, Kiwi Acecraft, because she does it all. She just does it all offensively. She generates the aces, and she generates the kills. She's right on the tails behind Jen Ash, who leads the team in kills so far this season.
Good attack there by Davila. Going to be dug up well. Scaniers gets the tip. Good save by De La Torre. Outside was Ramick, but a little too short there. And Lady Lions now saying we're not going anywhere just yet. Only down 117-18 in the first. And with Ashcraft back, scary times are ahead for the Mountaineers.
Kaylee Ashcraft, she generates a lot of aces. We know that, but she also, like we just saw there, generates a lot of service errors that kind of diminish that glamour just a little bit. But she seems to compensate with the aces, though. The problem is when it's a collective problem with the service errors, that's when it becomes a big issue.
You're absolutely right. Davila on the serve. Manzo looking for Scaniers. Another miscommunication between the setter and the middle. Outside set for Ramick. Good dig by Ashcraft. Manzo dump set. Good save there by Santana. Ramick again asked to swing. Herman on the diving save. Out to Katie Hubbard. Hubbard a little early on that one. Keeps it in play. My goodness, Fleming now on the attack. Manzo digs that one up. Ashcraft looking for Hubbard. Hubbard going to keep it alive once again. Short and good. Good wherewithal there by the Lady Lions to keep that point alive, and smart roll there as the Berea Mountaineers really sat back because they know how big of a hitter Kaylee Hubbard is.
You know, you don't always need to put mustard on the hot dog to get the point. Sometimes it's okay to put something out there where they need to where they need a little ketchup, if you will.
Scaniers back to serve here. And service error, I believe, number 5 on the match for the Lady Lions. Plethora of substitutions for the Mountaineers, and Scaniar's going to check out for Herman in the back row here. Back to serve is Rivera, the setter for the Mountaineers. 3 hitters up front for Berea. Jenna Ash, good reception there. Manzo looking for Weathersby. Weathersby going to keep her own block alive. Kaylee Ashcraft, or not Kaylee Ashcraft, excuse me, Katie Hubbard on the attack, going to get shut down. And timeout number 2 going to be taken by Coach Jamie McCormack.
I mean, what can you say? It was a great effort there. Taylor Herman did, with the desperation, just tip up with the one arm. Perfect set for Katie Hubbard. And I don't know if Katie Hubbard just got a little too excited there, but just ends up sending it right into the net, squandering what would have been a very magical, miraculous chance there to keep that rally going. You were talking about the errors earlier. Let me give you some stats right now. 13 total attacking errors on the floor so far from both of these teams. 7 for Berea, 6 for the Lions. If we want to talk about service errors, 4 for the Lions and 1 for Berea. No reception errors up to this point, but you're talking about 5 service errors and 13 attacking errors, 18 total errors out there on the floor, and we're not even finished with this first set yet.
And Matt, 3 points separate these two teams here in the first set, 21-18, the Mountaineers lead, and there are 3 service errors on the board more for the Lions than there are for the Mountaineers. So that's 3 free points that they don't even get to contest, don't even give a chance to play for. So you clean those service errors up, you get the point just started, and there's a little bit more of a chance to get out to a lead. But one thing I'm taking away is the middles need to get more involved for the Lady Lions. It feels like there's a lot of outside sets to Hubbard and Ashcraft and Ash, and not much action by Weathersby and Scaniar's just yet.
Yeah, and maybe that's another contribution, is that they're not getting that action. They're not getting as many chances, and so they just got to get the rust out of their joints, if you will.
But why do you need the middles if you've got Katie Hubbard on the outside, bouncing right back and getting herself a kill off of the outstretched hands of one of the Mountaineers? Manzo back to serve. That means 3 hitters up front for the Lady Lions. Those hitters, Ash, Hubbard, and Weathersby. Manzo going to get this point started. De La Torre on the receive. Rivera out. Intended for Martin. Martin going to be a little bit too far in front of the set, and it's going to sail deep. 2021.
2021.
Knock, knock.
Just a couple of years ago. Who remembers that year? I remember that year.
Manzo out to De La Torre. Rivera now with the bump set. Looking for Ramick, and Ramick going to get it through. Jenna Ash. Ash, one of the better blockers on the Lady Lions, but Ramick got up there, and beautiful set by Rivera is going to get them just 3 points away from closing out the first set.
Nessa Ramage, there's just a lot of players out there on this Mountaineer side who could just put a lot of pepper behind some of these attacks up front. That's why you need your middle blockers out there, just to absorb all that force.
Creative set and touch by Hubbard, going to get picked up, but Jenna Ash, hello, on the right side attack. She gets herself another kill, and this combination between Manzo and Ash is one of the best we've seen all season.
I just came back from a trip to West Point. They fire a cannon every time they lower the American flag at 5 o'clock. That right there was about as loud as that cannon.
Mary Grace Shaw, back row, going to serve this one in, and shut down is Jaya Weathersby. That's going to be a block, getting herself on the board. Julie Santana for the Mountaineers is going to be shut down there by the lone middle blocker.
And just like that, the momentum switches sides just a little bit right when it matters most, late in the set.
Mary Grace Shaw serving once again. De La Torre, the intended attacker. Berea clamoring for a touch. They're going to say there was some contact by one of the Lions in the front row. That's going to be 23-22 in favor of the Mountaineers.
That was so close, too. My goodness.
Hannah Martin back to serve with a middle in there. That means no libero for the Mountaineers. Chance for a good point here. Jenna Ash says hello, and bang, just like that. Immediate switch of momentum. Jenna Ash is igniting this first set.
Woo, hello and goodbye to that volleyball.
Taylor Herman.
Those volleyballs handle a lot of force, especially when it's coming off of the palm of Jenna Ash.
Taylor Herman, good serve there. Rivera on the set, looking out wide to Santana, and out to B. Not enough top spin on that swing, and Lady Lions, hello, set point number 1, and timeout number 1 for the Mountaineers. They're going to talk it over just before the first set point service by Taylor Herman.
The Lions are coming alive right at the perfect moment that they should be. They're able to tie it up late after being down by as much as 4 points in this set. Now they lead by 1, a chance to claim the set, but there's no margin for error here. 1 point on the side for Berea, and this set could go on for God knows how long.
Well, one thing I'm going to say is if you've tuned into enough Piedmont University Athletics on YouTube broadcast, you may know that I am blessed with one of the worst commentator curses I've seen in recent history. So I will just say one of the things they've done phenomenally after that second timeout by head coach Dave McCormack is they have not had a service error. So all they need to do is Taylor Herman get that point started and let that front trio of Jenna Ash, Kaylee Ashcraft, and Jessica Stonyers
I'm knocking
get it
on the
finished.
one of my chair as we speak. Or
Taylor
rather,
Herman.
as you speak, sir.
Taylor Herman on the service. Ball
thank
good.
God.
De La Torre going to receive it. Rivera back to De La Torre on the attack. Tipped up. Sconners keeps it alive. Manzo now, and Herman short to keep it up. Lady Lions just couldn't get their feet underneath that ball after the initial tip up. Had the Lions just pressed over a little bit, set would have been done and dusted, but we go on into extra points here. 24-24 is our first set score. Another group of substitutions in for Berea.
Gotta win by 2. All you need is back-to-back points.
Jenna Ash,
There's
hello!
one. There's one!
My goodness, Jenna Ash might just go for the CCS kill record in the playoffs the way she's been swinging today.
I don't even know what that record is. We'd have to find that out.
We will have to do some research.
Curious.
Right after that, Jenna Ash is going to be serving De La Torre on the receive. Torres sets it outside to Fleming, and Fleming going to find it wide. Lady Lions win the first set, 26-24 here inside of Cave Arena.
And what did they just get that point off of? An attacking error. Tell you, we're going to see a lot of those in this game. Let's go Piedmont chants filling the air. The student section getting electrified here. I'm feeling that surge with them. Are you?
Cave Arena has definitely come out in troves here. Nice to see a big increase in attendance here for some post-season action. And you talked about the errors, and after that second timeout, I'd love to see the difference in errors because the Lady Lions severely cleaned up their mistakes. After a quick glance at the stats, it looks like the majority of errors, barring service errors, are now in favor of the Mountaineers because the Lady Lions have just started to play just higher percentage attacks and kept themselves in the point.
We're looking at 11-7 on the attacking errors. Berea has the larger number there, and then service errors has stayed the same. So 18-5, you're looking at 23 total errors just in that first set by both of these teams.
Nearly half of the total points accrued in that first set were off of errors, 50 total points played, but the majority went to the Lady Lions as they escape with the first set. We're going to take a brief break here to catch our breath before we get back to the second set action here in the CCS quarterfinals. You're listening to Piedmont University Athletics on YouTube. Welcome back to Piedmont University Athletics on YouTube. Simon Johnstone here with Matt Kodrowski. And as we head ourselves into the second set, after the Lady Lions win an electric first set with a scoreline of 26-24. Matt, we were just handed the stat sheets. What's jumping out to you?
Errors are what's jumping out at me. They encompass half the points that we saw in that first set. You look at 11 attacking errors on the side of Berea, 7 on the side of the Lions, and then we saw 5 total service errors out there, 4 of which were for Piedmont. If you know your basic math, you can deduce that there was only 1 for Berea. So 23 total attacking errors in just one set by both of these teams. Errors are encompassing a lot of points, and it's all about who's capitalizing off of them. And right now, it's Piedmont because they just claimed the first set.
You're absolutely right. And the other thing that jumped out to me in that score box we talked about a little earlier was the middles for the Lady Lions need to get involved. They do that to relieve some pressure on the outside hitters. But right now, the middles still need to get started. Jessica Sconier is 1 of 6 with 1 error and 6 total attacks. And Jaya Weathersby 0 for 4, essentially 4 total attacks, no errors, no kills. So she's swinging at a complete goose egg. But the amazing thing is you have Jenna Ash currently, who's been hitting on both the outside and the right side positions. Out of 12 total attacks, she's had 7 kills and 0 errors. She has not net negative anything. It's literally she swings and either keeps the point in play or she ends it right there.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're talking about what jumped out at you. Right now, it's been Jenna Ash's attacks have been making me jump out of my chair. So, you know, what Jenna Ash does for an offense, it just brings so much firepower, so much pop, and it really does just make your jaw drop.
Clever wordplay there, my friend. You're full of those fun puns and rhymes, I guess.
You know, I really try to be as genius with my vernacular as possible.
So we head into that second set action. No major substitutions that are catching my eye just yet for the Lady Lions. Katie Hubbard, Vanessa Manzo, and Jaya Weathersby fill out the front 3, and in the back row, you've got, oh my goodness, complete mind blank for a second. Taylor Herman, Kaylee Ashcraft, and Jenna Ash. And then for Berea, you've got Cora for the libero, as well as Santana up front, Martin up top, and De La Torre. And then the back row, you have got number 2. I'm going to have to double check that name really quick.
That's
Ramick.
Ramick.
As was Ray Mitch.
I believe that's European. I believe it is.
Ramick is Eastern, but we'll see.
Is it Ramick or Ramich? I'm about 80% sure it's Ramich.
Either way, we're underway for the second set action, and hello!
Oh my God.
Picking up just where she left off. Jenna Ash, kill number 8 on the evening. First point, first kill for the second set for the Lady Lions, and oh my goodness, is she just turning up.
My goodness, Jenna Ash is making us say her name right now. She is, oh my gosh, another kill for this young lady. My gosh, that's her 8th.
Mary Grace Shaw checks in for Katie Hubbard, and shut down is Jenna Ash on the block once again.
She is just a one-person show right now. She's getting it all done all by herself.
She's been supported beautifully, but she is closing out points like nobody's business here. Mary Grace Shaw, another serve. That's going to be a service ace for her. Someone who can get a bunch herself. So we always talk about Kaylee Ashcraft, but Mary Grace Shaw is quite the serve.
First ace of the game. Credit to Mary Grace Shaw, and I don't know what it is, but the specialists that Coach McCormack's got on those Lady Lions. Look at that, 4 straight points.
The exact start you want to have after a gritty, tough first set. Mary Grace Shaw continuously putting up some dangerous float serves here. This one, though, just going to be a bit short as I compliment her service game. So first service error there for the Mountaineers, and De La Torre now going to be back to serve.
You know, we've seen that a lot from the Lady Lions so far. They'll get on a good run with the services, and it usually ends with a service error. I'm not kidding. It usually ends with a service error of some kind. Oh my gosh, that one spring-loaded off of that net.
Ramich on the attack, gonna be dug by Herman, but a little bit too wide across the net, and they're gonna let it bounce out for their second point of this second set here. De La Torre stays back to serve. There's some mountains for the Mountaineers up front. for Berea. Manzo looks back to Kaylee Ashcraft. Kaylee Ashcraft going to get that one. Jai Weathersby says hello up front, and she's going to dump that right over the net. Beautifully set up by the Ashcrafts attack.
Lightning strikes, a storm is brewing, and her name is Jaya Weathersby.
Jai Weathersby going to take a quick breather here as she heads to the back row. Taylor Herman going to serve this one in. Ramich on the reception. Tip by Santana, kept alive by Ash. Manza now looks outside to the freshman Kaylee Ashcraft. Ashcraft's ball going to be tipped by Rivera. Cora had to react as there's a bit of a miscommunication on the Mountaineers side. And the Lady Lions jump ahead 6-2 in the second.
Amelie Cora just had her head on a swivel, but it wasn't for the ball. She was looking for her teammate. She thought her teammate was about to clean that up. And when she realized it, the ball was about a foot away from the hardwood.
Good dig by Ashcraft. Manza now looking at Jenna Ash. Jenna Ash going to be dug well by Santana. Rivera now looks to De La Torre in the back row. Manzo, good dig. Sconyers the middle, going to set it up for Ash. Good dig by De La Torre, keeps the point alive for the Mountaineers. Ramich on the short angle attack. Way too acute of an angle there and didn't even reach the net.
Trying to thread the needle there, just missed the eye by a little bit. I will say, you want to talk about Jessica Sconyers' set on that play, looking for Jenna Ash. Jessica Sconyers has played all positions of the floor over her time as a volleyball player, just period. So she knows how to make the set. She makes sets better than any middle in the CCS.
And speaking of Sconyers, she's going to get her first block of the evening here on Berea. And Berea going to call a timeout to regroup. They trail by 6 here early in the second. And Matt, what hasn't been working for the Lions, really? I mean, they've been off to such a great start.
Well, errors, but they've cleaned that up, and that's the greatest thing that has led to this run so far, is that there haven't been any errors. They've severely cut down on the service errors. We've only seen one in this entire set by them. And on top of that, they've been rallying. The attacks have been on point. We've seen better hits. Not exactly more powerful hits, but better place hits, more IQ plays. We've seen Jenna Ash, we've seen her unload the cannon, but we've also seen her unload the teardrop, try to do a little floater over the top, finding the soft areas. It isn't always about the hardest hit that gets the point, but it's always going to be that well-placed hit that generates the best chance. And right now, the Lions are creating a lot of great chances for them with their hitting.
And one thing for the Lions as well is they're a very adaptive squad. They recognize what's going wrong, and they're quick to adjust and change that strategy. And here, I mean, as though it was black and white, it was errors, they're still able to adjust and clean up. Either way, we're back underway here. Herman's going to set this one outside to Ashcraft, and Ashcraft wanted to put that one down as if she was on top of the net, but a little too far away there, and the attack is going to find itself in the net.
You're talking about black and white, which, by the way, are the jerseys out there right now, but that one was a little bit more of a gray zone, I'll say.
Good reception by Herman out to Manzo. Manzo to Sconyers, and Sconyers with her first kill of the evening. That one ball is so dangerous with the Orlando native.
Sconyers, more like Stronyers. That was a very strong finish up front by the middle blocker. Just unloaded the hammer like she was Thor.
Maybe a little too much muscle there. Speaking of Thor, by Jenna Ash, service error for the Lions. That one's going to sail long. Now back to serve for the Mountaineers is going to be Torres. She's seen a good amount of action thus far. Torres serve float. Going to look to the hands of Jenna Ash. Good reception there. Manzo finds Sconyers, and Sconyers going to touch it. Or excuse me, Torres is going to touch it as though it looked to be sailing out.
That was very, very close. You saw Torres just outstretch the fingertips, outstretch them a little too far to where she just grazed the ball. Great call by the courtside official to call that tip, and a great point for the Lions that almost shouldn't have happened.
And looks to me that the Lions are going to have a four-leaf clover in their pocket. That ball going to touch the top of the tape and roll over. Ashcraft, I don't think is going to be marked for an ace there, but good serve nonetheless.
They're calling it a lift. I will say they could have called a lift. They could have called a Berea Mountaineer player going into the net. Pick your poison.
And lightning does not strike twice there as Ashcraft going to hit the top of the tape and end up on her side. Service error once again for the Lady Lions. Mountaineers now trying to mount a comeback early in the second. They trail by 6, 5-11.
That was a good one, Simon Johnstone. You're learning from me.
Sconyers on the attack, going to be kept alive Torres now looks middle, and shut down is Jessica Sconiers. Boy, has she come alive here in the second.
Has she ever? Already 2 massive solo blocks. That is formidable. And now we see Zoe Coelho subbing in, going back to serve. We've seen quite a few glimpses from her. She already has had a game, or she had 3 aces of her own. That was against Bellhaven.
Attack here by Fleming. Fleming going to find the outside of the hand of Katie Hubbard, and Berea, really the first kill it feels like for them. One of their 6 points. The rest feel like service errors and a couple of quote-unquote free points from the Lions, but the offense slowly starting to get going here for Berea.
The window is open. It's all about whether or not the Mountaineers are able to climb through and give themselves a really good chance here.
Davila's serve received well. Weathersby looked for a tip. Torres now back to De La Torre. Herman on the dig. Manzo now looks outside to Katie Hubbard. Katie Hubbard gets it off the top of the hands of Martin, and Hubbard's going to grab herself another kill. That's the smart attack we've been talking about, where she was a little bit further back in the set. She had to lean back a bit, and instead of going with her full swing, she took a little bit off and hit the top of the hands. And
that right there is a good way to shut that window.
Manzo's serve going to be received. Torres back set out to Fleming, and Fleming going to hit the hands of Weathersby and stay on the Lions side. Lions, one of the more minor concerns that they seem to have ironed out for the regular season was pressing over the net on the blocks. We've seen some good blocks here tonight, notably Sconiers with 2 already in the second set, but they're just a little late to the position to shut it down. Served by Rivera. Manzo on the dump set. De La Torre is going to see that one. Rivera now looking outside to Santana. Good dig by Taylor Herman, who's been so active here tonight. Jenna Ash, she can hit it hard, and sometimes she can hit it a little too hard, and that one's going to sail long.
I mean, we talk about bumps. She went for the bump there. Ended up being more like a side check into the glass. Sorry for the hockey reference.
Back to serve is Edemo Rivera, excuse me. Katie Hubbard on the outside, blocked by De La Torre. The Mountaineers have come alive here in the second set.
And they've opened that window back up, not only down by 4, back-to-back points, a chance to not only continue to close it on this deficit, but really make a good push as we near the halfway point of this set.
Ashcraft, good reception there. Hubbard has to keep it alive. Berea in the same situation. De La Torre now on the attack. Good dig by Kaylee Ashcraft. Manzo right in the perfect spot. Hubbard on the attack, and bang! Back right corner for Kaylee Hubbard. She loves those deep angles, and once again finds herself a kill as she steps out for Mary Grace Shaw.
Katie Hubbard raising some hubbub. Student section, they're going to be talking about that one for a little bit.
What a fun word, hubbub. Anyway, Mary Grace Shaw back to serve here. Lady Lions lead by 5. Rivera looking inside to Martin, and Martin on the tip. Going to be a beautiful angle there. Herman could not get to it in time, and Berea starting to engage in a back and forth affair here as the Lady Lions need to try and get back to where they were, essentially.
Throwing the cup onto the floor of the coffee shop like Thor asking for another.
De La Torre's serve received well by Ashcraft. Ashcraft asked on the attack as well. De La Torre on the dig. Rivera looks back to Santana. Good dig there by Mary Grace Shaw. To the middle is Jaya Weathersby. Blocked initially, and Jenna Ash just great hustle to keep it alive. Rivera now set up, looks outside, and that attack is going to fly deep. No touch called on the Lady Lions in what looked to be a super dangerous situation with Ramich, on the outside, results in an attacking error once again.
Jenna Ash, though, great desperation play, able to punch it over, and then we saw a result in the attacking error, but just the effort alone generated the chance. And it looks like we had Hannah Martin come down on top of the net, or it appears it might have also been a illegal set. I'm not sure.
So the call looked to be a lift, but what I'm not going to say concerns me, but what intrigues me rather is what Martin's doing is she's essentially tip throwing, and it's a very gray area in the sport of volleyball because you can keep your hand and almost look like you're throwing it, but it's very dependent on how long your hand is on the ball. So while I think that might have been what he called, it wasn't the action he showed. So he's still calling a lift on Rivera, so I don't really know exactly what's going on right now.
It's probably what that attack is probably what he's mean to call, but he's just calling something different, entirely different. Either way, it'd be an error if that's what he's trying to call. And there it is.
Well, not only that, we're going to actually see a yellow card here against the head coach of Berea. I think a little bit too much of discredit and concern by the Mountaineers, and Cave Arena is getting loud now.
Wow. A roar, if you will, from the Lions students here. My goodness.
Finally back underway with Herman serve. Cora the one to receive it. Outside is Santana. Great dig by Mary Grace Shaw. Manzo on the hustle, keeps it alive. Jenna Ash back, or front row, excuse me. But back behind her was the set, and that one's going to sail long.
You know, if there's one thing about firing a cannon, it's very hard to control where it goes. We kind of saw that on display there.
Manzo here sets outside to freshman Ashcraft, and Ashcraft gonna catch the line there. Great angle there, splits the seam of the two blockers for the Mountaineers. And the Lions jump ahead 17-11 your score in the second set. Jenna Ash now back to serve. Received by De La Torre. Rivera now looking inside to Davila. Herman, though, going to keep this one alive. Manzo outside to Ashcraft. Great dig there by Cora, but looked to be a bit of a miscommunication between two Mountaineers.
Santana was looking to try and bump it over. Probably should have looked to bump it up and set up a teammate there. She ended up setting it into the side of the net. Very unfortunate case of circumstances if you're a Mountaineers fan, but very good case of circumstances if you're a Lions fan.
Absolutely right. And speaking of the Mountaineers, they're going to take another timeout here in the second set. They trail by 7, 18-11. The Lady Lions lead. We're going to step away for a short moment here. You're listening to Piedmont University Athletics on YouTube. Welcome back to CCS postseason action here. Lady Lions won the first set and are up fairly big in the second as we get back underway. They lead 18-11 here. Jenna Ash serve received well, and Ramich on the outside. Going to be dug by Herman. Manzo looking to the middle, and Jessica Sconiers, boy, has she come alive here in the second.
Woo! Get the grounds crew because the plane is landing right there. My goodness.
Jenna Ash looking to continue her service streak. De La Torre going to dig that one up. Rivera looking deep. Tip going to be saved by the Lady Lions. Creative touch there by Ashcraft. Manzo now going to set it a little bit behind Ashcraft, and we're going to see a tip call here. Looks to touch the outstretched hands of Santana, and the Lady Lions can't seem to do no wrong here as their lead increases to 9.
You know, I don't even know if I even saw a tip up front, but what I did see was the absolute all-out effort by Amelie Cora, the diving play to keep it alive that somehow managed to bounce it over and keep it alive for the time being. And I thought it actually generated a point for Berea, but the officials ruled it differently. Now we lead pretty big, and now they get a point, but it's 2012 now.
And, you know, while it's not the end of the world because, as you mentioned, Matt, they have come back from being down 2 sets to bring it to a 5th. They don't want to have to do that again. So Mountaineers feel like it's really make or break time here in the second set. Just 5 points away are the Lady Lions as Davila deep tip there going to be kept alive by Mary Grace Shaw. And Sconiers had a tip of her own, and it says, wait for my touch, because that goes over the hands of Davila with no one home to keep it alive.
Couple of great plays and a couple of great hits there by Sconiers. We saw one last-ditch desperation punch to get it over, and right there, she jumped a little bit too early, but was able to get away with it because somehow, just with the force of her finger, she was able to tip it over the top of the middle blockers.
Kaylee Ashcraft's serve going to find itself long, and while we have seen a ton of service errors, I think that makes number 8 for just the Lions alone.
Yep.
You have the cushion to sort of experiment with an aggressive serve. I still would like to see a little bit more consistency, but either way, Lady Lions just 4 points off, and Manzo high IQ turnaround touch set there, going to result in another kill for Vanessa Manzo. We switched, and by we, I mean the Lady Lions have switched to a different rotation. They ran 2 setters last year involving Brooklyn Gunn significantly. Now Vanessa Manzo is essentially the captain of the ship, and she's done a fantastic job at all positions.
She's done a great job pirateering. That's
Speaking of Manzo, she's going to keep that play alive, as well as Coelho on the back row. Tipped there by Fleming, kept alive by Weathersby. There's Hubbard, looks to find Manzo maybe on the kill of her own, but unfortunately a little too wide there.
Manzo's a center. Why is she rising up like that? I don't know. I guess to try and put an exclamation point on that. She put a heck of an exclamation point, but she just missed the picture frame a little bit. So
Davila back to serve here for the Mountaineers. Serve received by Jenna Ash. Manzo has to move a little bit. Weathersby going to come with her. Good attack there, kept alive, and Torres thought the ball was going to go off the net. Didn't really roll off, and that's going to be a great point there by the Lady Lions and increases their lead to 9 and puts them just 2 points away from the second set. Manzo now back to serve. Serve, aggressive short corner here. Fleming's going to receive it well. Super tight set, miscommunication there. Couldn't tell if it was intended for De La Torre or Martin. Either way, set was a little too low to really generate anything, and bada bing, bada boom. 10-point lead, set point here for the Lady Lions.
To me, it just seemed like a poor set overall. Had Martin not done, I would have been led too far for De La Torre to get to anyway.
Fleming with an incredible attack, but Kaylee Ashcraft says, I got an incredible attack of my own, and Katie Hubbard gonna get the kill to close out the second set. I believe that's exactly what she did in the first set as well. The closer for the Lions, if I'm not mistaken. But Lady Lions jump ahead to a 2-sets-to-love lead. Cave Arena's loving it. And Matt, what isn't there to love for the Lady Lions?
My goodness, I'm at a loss for words right now. The way the Lions faithful are backing these girls right now, I haven't seen Piedmont Volleyball play this way in all my years of covering them, but this year, there's something that's just extraordinarily special about them. I'm just going to say it. These are one of the teams you've got to watch out for if you are the Covenant Scots, because there are a few teams in this conference that could surprise you.
And speaking quickly about the conference standings, it was a 3-way tie between the 2 to 4 seed. We found ourselves at the bottom end of that, as us, Huntington, and Maryville all had the same records at 11-5 in conference play. So they could have been seeded as high as number 2 just by record alone.
Yeah.
And they're playing like a number 2 or threatening number 1 seed type of team right now. It's been brilliant play and adjustments and adaptations by the Lady Lions as they've just continuously built upon the previous points and previous sets, really, as the second set just looked a lot cleaner. It looked a lot sharper, and overall they just looked a lot more dangerous. So Lady Lions, if they continue this trend, are going to put down the gauntlet on the Mountaineers. But the Mountaineers, as you mentioned earlier in the pregame, Matt, are a team that don't fold easy. So while we hope it doesn't head to 5, history may just repeat itself. Lady Lions trying to shut this one down with a clean sweep.
I mean, definitely cut down the errors a little bit. 7 attacking errors in that first set, 5 here in the second. Service errors, though, what I'm looking at is 9 as of right now for the team, and they had 4. So they actually had more service errors in the second set than they did in the first set. The big thing that we saw, though, was the increased hitting percentage. I mean, they got a lot better.
Well, look, not only that, when you speak about hitting, but the biggest takeaway for me is Jenna Ash only had 1 more kill in that second set. And this is what I really like, is because they won by a larger margin because more players were getting involved. Of course, Jenna Ash is going to be a consistent threat, but she wasn't even asked to really do much because Katie Hubbard came alive. She grabbed herself 3 kills there. How about Jessica Skyniers with 4 after having none in the first? And Jaya Weathersby grabs herself 2 kills as well. So the middles are now getting involved. You still have those outsides who are consistent threats if you're a Mountaineers back row player. And overall, the diversity and ability for Vanessa Manzo to spread the love to all of her hitters is what makes this Lady Lions team so threatening, because each and every one of those ladies up front are able to put the hammer down.
You just mentioned the back row for Berea. How about the back row for Piedmont? Taylor Herman has been bolstering that back row right now. She has 16 digs out there so far through those first 2 sets. There was almost a chance she couldn't have played in this game. She had some developing heart issues that have just kind of risen up, and so she had a heart monitor attached to her, and so they were doing a stress test, and they had to get the results in order for her to play today. She drove an hour to Winder today to get the test taken care of, got the results at 3 o'clock, and got the okay to play.
That's always great to hear, as health is the #1 priority, and Herman came into this matchup with a cool and even 500 digs across the season. Of course, she was CCS all first team and one of the best players in all of the CCS position, like regardless of position. But Taylor Herman with 16 here just shows that she is consistently the anchor for this Lady Lions back line. Her and notably Mary Grace Shaw and Kaylee Ashcraft have kept so many points alive that have felt like they should have been finished.
They just find a way to get the shovel in the ground. And when you're able to do that, you're able to dig something up. And when you're able to dig something up, something's able to generate there. Something's able to grow.
Set number 3, action underway here. First attack's going to be blocked. Second attack, how about that? Taylor Herman says, I'm still going strong. Jenna Ash going to be shut down initially by Berea. Berea now with their first real attack. And Martin's going to be dug up initially by Herman. Jenna Ash into the chairs, keeps it alive, and ball just a bit wide after a gritty defensive effort by the combination of Taylor Herman and Jenna Ash.
That was such a great effort, and just missed the picture frame by that much.
Alexis McCullough back to serve, dug up by Taylor Herman. Manzo now looks back to Hubbard, tipped down. Hubbard keeps it alive. Manzo now out to Ash. Ash dug by McCullough. Rivera now looking to the lefty Fleming. Fleming's attack going to be touched by the net. Weathersby keeps it up. Jenna Ash leaning back, keeps it in play. Rivera now bump set to De La Torre. Ashcraft now. Manzo. Here comes Hubbard. Hubbard on the attack. Bang! Splits between Martin and Fleming, the 2 blockers there for Berea. And this third set, after these 2 points, if it's any indication of how the rest of the set's going, we're in for a treat.
We are in for a treat, and who knows, if the Lions are able to pour on the gas like they have in those first 2 sets, we could be looking at a clean sweep. Bring out the broomsticks.
And with serving like that from Mary Grace Shaw, it's a good way to jumpstart the offense. She did just that last set and helped them build an early lead. Alexis McCullough looks to be calling for the serve again. And she says, I'll bring it right to you. McCullough going to dig that one. Rivera now out to Martin. Martin tried to find the angle, but guess who's there? Taylor Herman, Jenna Ash on the attack. Shut down, but kept alive by the Lions. Herman outside. Kaylee Ashcraft now shut down once again, and no one there to cover the initial pass. And Berea, their front row has really activated here in this third set.
I mean, they've been aggressive at the front of the net, and that's what you need your bigs up front to do. And that is exactly what they have done with Hannah Martin and Brenda Davila. And what more can you ask for from your bigs other than to have a presence up front? When you have that presence, you're generating blocks, and you're not just generating blocks, you have a chance to generate kills. It works both ways on both sides of the offensive and defensive spectrum.
And the Mountaineers have some mountains up front. We talked about them a little earlier. Lindley Fleming is 5'9". Davila is 6 foot. I believe Santana is also 6 foot. So a lot of tall players for the Mountaineers as Lady Lions unable to keep that point alive. Berea now knots up the score at 3 apiece. A little bit more tightly contested than what we saw at the beginning of the second. Fleming now back to serve. Serve at Ash. Ash is going to return it well, but then a miscommunication between Taylor Herman and Mary Grace Shaw. It's going to result in another free point for Berea. I believe Taylor Herman initially thought it was too far, and then Mary Grace Shaw knows that if the setter can't get to it, it's the libero's job to get the second, so maybe just a lack of words exchanged there, but Lady Lions will say thank you very much to the Mountaineers as that free point is essentially erased because service error by Berea.
You know, it doesn't go down as a statistical error, but communication errors are just as costly as the statistical reception, attacking, and service errors.
De La Torre for the Mountaineers, going to fire that one down. Mary Grace Shaw nearly kept it alive, She's had a couple of those digs earlier in the matchup, but De La Torre just a little too much pop in that arm here today. She steps back to serve now. Received by Taylor Herman, finds Manzo. Manzo, quick shoot ball to Scanier. Scanier's going to get shut down initially. And Manzo's short set, not sure if she was really intending for Scaniers, potentially thinking Ashcraft might have come to the middle hitter position, and we've already seen twice in just 10 points, miscommunication slowly starting to creep its way back in for the Lady Lions.
Couple of not very accurate sets by Manzo in this game. They're just kind of really been costly, and that's not really what you need in your setter. It seemed like that play was originally drawn up to go to Scaniers, and then when you have something like what we saw there, it's up to the rest of the team to really kind of adapt. And Scaniers, you saw the slip trying to go for the ball, but even then the rest of the players back up because they know who's supposed to go for the ball.
We're going to see a net violation call against Rivera. She believes her hands were underneath the net, not actually contacting it, just the ball. Regardless, though, Lady Lions going to continue their little run here. Kaylee Ashcraft back to serve for the second time. Service here going at De La Torre. Good reception there. Rivera now looks for a back set to Davila, which is going to drop in, and Ashcraft unable to get that one back up. Davila, the 6 foot, I guess, middle / outside for the Mountaineers. It seems like she's played both positions here.
I think she does.
Has been very creative in her attacks. Not many full swings, a lot of placement attacks. Her serve.
That's not really what you need. I mean, just look at her. You can tell she's really freaking strong. So anything that she can put her hand through is going to come down with a lot of force.
You're absolutely right. Hubbard, too tight of a set there, and she's going to walk into the net for another error. Davila now back to serve. Mountaineers lead 8-6 here in the third, and a poor service reception by Kaylee Ashcraft going to force Scaniers nearly into the chairs. She stays out of them at first, but 9-6, the Mountaineers lead here in the third. A lot better of a start than what we've seen from the first 2 sets. Lady Lions here need to regroup. Ashcraft going to dig that one. Tight ball for Scaniers to try and tip it over, and looks to me like head coach Jay McCormack's going to call her first timeout here to talk it over. Hints of the first set a little bit. We saw a slow start from the Lady Lions, and I already know what you're going to say, and we should have a counter for how many times we've said it this broadcast, but what's the number one thing the Lady Lions need to do here to jump back ahead in this third set?
Cut down the errors. Now, on top of that, they need to shut the window. They can't allow Berea to gain any kind of momentum. We've seen their capabilities to stay in games. They have had how many 5-set games? Too many to count, and too many for me to really want to look at, because I might get exhausted thinking about how many times a player would have had to have grabbed an inhaler for how long they've had to been out there on the floor for most of this season. But I will say, Berea, you could say they're pretty well conditioned if they can go through countless 5-set matches. And the fact that they can go out of a losing one and straight into a winning one is cause for any kind of threat, for any kind of team. And so if you are the Lions, you have a 2-0 set lead, take them out now.
And Carlos Dunans, the head coach for Berea, seems to be well-versed in deep matches. As you mentioned, they've done it a bunch of times, but it's almost like he's developed a strategy to do that as he's dug deep into his bench here and has had, I believe, 2 to 3 more substitutions than the Lady Lions thus far. Regardless, we're out of the timeout here, Lady Lions. Hopefully they figured out the answer to their problem. Scaniers on the quick roll, going to call out Davila, and after a few initial bouts of effort by the Berea Mountaineers front line, ball's finally going to drop dead. And the Lady Lions jump out of that timeout perfectly, shutting down the first point.
Scaniers finally able to get an attack over, and the Mountaineers just weren't able to reel it in.
Coelho's serve going to be returned by Fleming, and deep tip there by Martin. It's hard to tell if it was going to stay in or out, and Ashcraft seemed just as indecisive as it looked. So a little bit of a late reaction. I liked her going for it, but you just got to commit to those decisions early.
I mean, absolutely. It's better safe than sorry if you go for it. The only issue is if you don't react quickly enough to really give yourself a chance.
Heavy serve there by Rivera. Goes right at Jenna Ash, and Jenna Ash couldn't pop that one up with enough time for Manzo to get under it. Mountaineers serving well here in this third set. Back to serve once again, Rivera. Her serve this time. A lot of strength behind it. It's going to sail deep here. Service error is starting to climb here for Berea a little bit. They're still dominating in that statistical category compared to the Lady Lions. The Lady Lions have started to clean it up a little bit. Manzo now back to serve, received by De La Torre. Outside to McCullough. McCullough goes line and in for, I believe, her first kill of the evening. She's really been a back row player, as you see here, dropping back for the serve, but getting herself involved in the front row is something she's not afraid to do. McCullough now, serve it at Jenna Ash, and Ash could pass to Manzo. She gets asked to attack, and attack she will, but right into the hands of Fleming and Martin. Berea's front row has been shutting down this Piedmont Lady Lions front attack. McCullough serve once again, dug in by Ashcraft this time. Manzo now looks to Katie Hubbard. Hubbard, short angle, gonna get over De La Torre, and finally the bleeding stops just a little bit for the Lady Lions. 9-14, they trail here in the third as Mary Grace Shaw steps back to serve.
At this point, it doesn't matter how fancy the serve is, just get it over.
Good serve there by Shaw. McCullough the one to dig it, and De La Torre's attack says, not today, is Jaya Weathersby. Her and Jessica Scaniers have done a fantastic job becoming a dominant force in these last two sets, something that's great to see because they were a little bit passive, if you will, in that first.
And they sure were passive on that finish. That was throwing a bouncy ball into a brick wall.
Jaya Weathersby shuts down the first one. It was kept alive by the Mountaineers, but that follow-up attack's going to fly inches long of that baseline. Lady Lions now finding themselves on a bit of a run. Mary Grace Shaw back to serve once again. Her aggressive float looking at De La Torre here. Rivera goes back to De La Torre on the attack, and off of the outside of the hand of Jenna Ash. Kill again for De La Torre, and blocking, it looks to be a bit of a disconnect, if you will, Matt, on the blocking end for the Lions.
Yeah, the aggression just hasn't been on the same par as Berea, but you don't have to if you got Jenna Ash attacking like that.
Jenna Ash has been great at adapting to some, we'll put it lightly, uncomfortable sets here. A little bit behind her, but she still puts them in threatening positions against the Mountaineers. Good kill there by Jenna Ash. Herman now on the serve. De La Torre on the dig to Rivera. Out to Davila. Davila now going to get dug, and Ashcraft shut down initially. Herman on the bump set. Looks to Ashcraft again. Ashcraft line. Too tight of an angle there, and that's going to be an attacking error for freshman Kaylee Ashcraft.
Kaylee Ashcraft already another kill. She's put a lot of punch behind a lot of these attacks, and they've generated a lot of points for the Lions. Now they're only down by 4.
Jenna Ash on the reception, out to Manzo. Manzo looks to Ashcraft again. Good dig there by, I believe, Cora. Davila keeps this one alive with a tip. Now Jenna Ash on the right side, a little bit too low at the contact point, and it's going to go into the net. Matt, I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like the Lions are really struggling to get in system and give Manzo time to set up her teammates.
Yeah, it sure does seem that way. It just seems like Manzo's kind of making a lot of desperation plays to try and keep the ball up. This might be a chance to try and switch setters. See if you can get something fresh going right now. Maybe give Manzo a breather, because right now she's flying all over the court right now. Maybe give her a second to breathe. You have other setters. You have Brooklyn Gunn, a very well-experienced setter on your team. If I'm Coach McCormack, I would look to put her in. She knows how to set the ball very, very well, and she knows how to generate offense as a setter. So that's just what I would do. But you know what? I'm not the coach. I don't make the call. I just call it as I see it. Vanessa Manzo is still a good option, but again, a breather is never too much of a harm.
And more to your point, the role of the setter is the most physically taxing position on the volleyball court, as she has to cover essentially any first pass that her teammates get up, as it's her job to find the next pass to her, one of her teammates. But We're going to see a timeout from head coach Jamie McCormack. They got to talk it over because Berea Mountaineers, you blink and all of a sudden they're just 6 points away from winning this third set. They have bounced back tremendously from this second set.
They really have. After getting seemingly dominated in that second set, that seemed to have been a good chance for them to kind of be like, okay, that was a fast set. We got all the bad juju out of our system. Let's take a breather and let's make sure that we're putting our best effort and saving our energy going into the next set, because if we are lacking the momentum and it starts to get away, it takes a lot of energy to fight back. And so sometimes it's not exactly the worst idea to let the set get away from you a little bit if you're saving yourself for a big push in the next set. Maybe that's what Berea did. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm over-speculating that. I'm not sure.
There is some crucial resolve required to dig back from any deficit, and the biggest one you could have in a volleyball matchup is down 2-0. Lady Lions not out of this set just yet. Just 6 points separate themselves from the Mountaineers, but action needs to occur right now as De La Torre back to serve for Berea gets this point underway here. Jenna Ash receives it out to Manzo. Manzo looks to freshman Kaylee Ashcraft, who's going to roll it over to Cora. Rivera now looks for DeVille, and DeVille on the full sprint over the head roll, going to find the middle of the court where no one's covering. And wow, I could not have bet that that was going to end up as a kill.
I hate to pick my jaw for a second. Excuse me.
Taylor Herman going to receive De La Torre's serve. Manzo looks to, I believe that was Kaylee Ashcraft. It is. She's going to get herself a kill here. Looks to me like the outsides are getting the brunt of the work here for the Lions. And here comes service ace, well, second place service ace position in all of D3, Kaylee Ashcraft. Her serve going to be good, received by Fleming, and Davila, deep tip, going to put the Lions in an uncomfortable position. Manzo's going to send it back over. Rivera now to McCullough. McCullough goes through the hands of Vanessa Manzo. McCullough's become active in the front row here. It looks like she's taking the place of Santana, if I'm not mistaken, in that front row. And Berea doing a great job of maintaining their lead. They're up 7 here, 21-14. Manzo tight to the net, going to tip this one over. Rivera does the same. Hubbard on the dig, looks back for the attack. Hubbard going to be blocked initially. Manzo goes back to Hubbard again, and Hubbard unable to go thrice in a row as she is going to have another attacking error. That's the risk you have with a one-setter rotation, is you essentially don't have an attacker on the right side that you can backset to, so when you get in those tight positions, you're forced to go to Katie Hubbard, and all the blockers can stack up on her. Sconiers keeps this one alive on a great set. Katie Hubbard on the attack says, I don't care how many blockers you put on me, I'm going to swing over the top of all of them. She gets back on the board with a kill after a couple of slow, I don't want to say slow starts, but a bit of a lull offensively, if you will. And Sconiers going to grab a breather here as Coelho goes back to serve for the Lions. 15-22, the Lions trail. Rivera now looks middle to Martin, and Martin, that's the gray area I'm talking about, because for me, it seems like she's holding on to it too long.
It's very close. But, you know, she takes advantage of that. I think she knows that. You can talk about how different players have a different style of play, different style of the way that they hit the ball. I've never seen a ball bounce off the net like that.
Talk about being rejected. Rivera's serve sent right back to the baseline.
That was like a basketball hitting the front of the rim right there.
Vanessa Manzo back to serve. That means we have 3 hitters up front again for the Lions. It's crunch time here. They trail by 7. Berea just needs 2 to close out the third set. Rivera now looks outside to McCullough. McCullough gonna split the hands of Withersby and Ash. Manzo almost with the incredible reactions to keep it alive, but just not enough upward force to keep it going. So set point here for the Mountaineers. McCullough sends this one over. Manzo now goes out to Katie Hubbard. Hubbard going to roll this one over, keep the point alive. Rivera out to De La Torre. De La Torre's attack going to fly long.
All right, so all we need is a 7-point rally. How hard could that be?
We have seen it inside of Cave Arena before.
We have. We've seen a 15-point rally that had Kaylee Ashcraft as the server, if you will. Right now it's Mary Grace Shaw.
She's the one tasked to make this comeback, and I'm not going to say too many good things as my curse is still too strong, but
putting the notes down.
Kaylee Ashcraft going to have to make at least 6 in a row here. Berea just need to close out 1 to finish and shut the door in the third set. De La Torre the first in the attack, and just like that, set number 3 going to go in favor of the Mountaineers. Not able to turn the hand in was Jenna Ash, and well, knock, knock, knock are the Mountaineers.
I'll say that one was really close. I thought it had a chance of touching down on that line. Apparently not, but maybe a little spark of fire towards the end of that set for the Lions that they can carry into the next set. Now, Berea, this is exactly where they want to be. You're coming off of a set win. Now this is a chance for them to build momentum. And if they build momentum, oh my goodness, look out for them in set number 5.
And if you're the Lady Lions, you really just have to say, look, we have 2 of the 3 sets needed to move on to the semifinals here against, assumedly, Berea. Of course, they take on the winner of Wesleyan and Agnes Scott today. But if their record stands true, they will be in the semifinals. So the Lady Lions are in the position they need to be. They just got to iron out, as we've said an abundant amount of times, the errors. Right now, it really just feels like they're not generating enough of threatening attacks, as Berea's had way more structured attacks where Rivera or Torres or whomever is setting for Berea is actually able to get their feet set underneath them. They're able to look to their outsides, their right sides, their middle. They have the time to pick who they want to go to. And on the other side, it feels like they're really rushing to just get a swing on the ball.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this. There's a time and a place to try to be creative with hits. If you are attacking, good chance to try to be creative. That's a great chance to try and find windows, thread needles, see if you can find places where your opponents aren't. Services aren't the place to do that. The whole point of the service, at the very basic necessity of it, is just get the ball over. If you're not even trying and you're just getting the ball over, sometimes that has a more chance of generating a kill than something fancy like trying to thread it into the corner. If the Lions, don't worry about the aces. Aces will come as they come. Focus on get the ball over and making sure that your attacks are quality attacks.
You're absolutely right. And speaking of the service errors specifically, Lady Lions have 9 total across the 3 sets. And attacking-wise...
19 attacking errors.
I was talking service errors.
Oh, service errors. Oh,
just 9.
Well, that's still a lot.
Yes, and then, but the biggest takeaway for me is there's a 7-kill separation between the 2 squads. Lady Lions have 35 compared to Berea's 28. So they are a team that's putting away more balls, and I think that speaks to, at least in the third set, what felt like their inability to generate a genuine attack or an actual swing on the ball. So if the Lady Lions can get a better service receive or a better first ball up to give Manzo time to facilitate, I think this is going to be a quick 4th set.
I'm looking at Berea right now, and they really cleaned up the attacking errors. They only had 4 attacking errors in an entire third set, and that is something that they're really going to want to carry into set number 4, because that resulted in the win. When they're cleaning up on the errors, they're not giving away the free points. Only 4 points that were given away, and had they given up any more, this would have been a much tighter set. We could have seen a lot more momentum changes. Who knows? But because Berea has been a lot more cleaner and a lot more concise with their attacking, that resulted in the win in that third set, and that's what they're going to try and do again here in set number 4.
And that's the same storyline that we saw in the second set with the Lady Lions. First set, of course, it was just not who wanted it more, but it really came down to who was playing better when it mattered most. And they came away with a 26-24 victory in the first. And then the second set we talked about was they really cleaned it up. They sharpened their irons. They were able to just attack fluidly. Defensively, they looked incredible with Herman and Mary Grace Shaw keeping so many points alive, and it looked like the Mountaineers did the exact same thing in the third. So this is the make or break moment really for the Lions. Can they bounce back after dropping the first set? Reception by Ashcraft. Katie Hubbard's going to get an attack out there. Cora now the one to set up Fleming on the right side, and Fleming gets Berea underway the right way as she grabs herself a kill for the first point in the fourth.
My goodness. Fleming finding the way where it's congested. And maybe that's a little bit of a gross analogy, but if it works, it works. You're finding the right areas to get the points.
Manzo on the run, gonna bump set it to Jenna Ash, and Jenna Ash, great attack there. Splits the hands of Fleming and Martin. Manzo not in the best position to set it up, but a good enough pass gave Ash enough time to step forward and use all of her power to get through that front row block. Hubbard drops out and gets subbed out for Mary Grace Shaw, who's back to serve here. Rivera now out to McCullough, who looks to be the new addition to the front row for Berea. Herman goes outside to Ashcraft, and Ashcraft's attack gonna just find the corner of the court. Great attack there by Kaylee Ashcraft. A spot that we've seen actually fairly commonly for the Lady Lions here.
They've loved feeding to those outside hitters, and Jenna Ash has been having a feast.
High reception of serve there, and Berea just gonna get the ball over. Here's time for the Lady Lions to get an actual attack. Jenna Ash, bang into the hands of Martin. Martin keeps it up, and McCullough gonna send it over, but too long on the swing was McCullough. Lady Lions, this is the attack we've been talking about, where they slow things down. That first ball gives Manzo time to set up her front row, and this team looks a lot more cohesive here in the fourth.
They're getting out of the gate nicely here in set number 4, up 3-1. If they can extend it and get a good run here early, hopefully it sets up some future success.
Fleming is gonna say not yet, as she grabs the second point of her own here in the fourth set for Berea. 2-3, the Mountaineers trail. McCullough back to serve, sends this one over to Ashcraft. Manzo now right to Weathersby, and Weathersby tried to go for a really tight short angle, but unfortunately a little too tight there as that one drops into the net.
Just like that, another attacking error, and evens things up at 3 aside.
Herman back out to Ashcraft. Ashcraft gonna roll this one over the top. McCullough keeps it alive for Berea. Rivera now sends it over to Fleming. Mary Grace Shaw, good set there. Manzo, look at the spot there. Great awareness for her to recognize the majority of the Mountaineers were up top, and she just sent it deep, forcing McCullough to basically cover half the court in no time.
I mean, credit Vanessa Manzo with a kill. Hey, look at that. Vanessa Manzo, the center, generating another kill here.
Jenna Ash gonna roll that one over. Good dig by the Mountaineers. Ashcraft now on the other side. Good attack. Dug up well by McCullough. Rivera now over to Martin. Martin touched by Sconyers, almost kept alive by Ash, but too much pace off the hands of Sconyers. And we have a back and forth affair going on here in the fourth. 4-4 is your score as Martin drops back to serve. Service at Herman. Herman, good dig there. Manzo has a lot of time. Out to Jenna Ash. Jenna Ash going to be shut down by De La Torre. Thought she had a chance to get a really thunderous kill, something she's basically trademarked in her career, but found the solo blocking hands of De La Torre.
I mean, that's what presence up front really does. It just neutralizes all kinds of offense, and that was what we saw there. Jenna Ash's attack just getting snuffed out up front. Almost like my breath got snuffed out there.
Jenna Ash now in the back row, going to serve it up for the Lady Lions. Mountaineers say it's going out. The ball drops just in time for an ace. For number 24 on the Lions, Jenna Ash. Not the most dangerous server, but one of the more consistent servers here for the Lady Lions. Deep serve again. McCullough's not taking any chances. She keeps it in. And Davila on the Mountaineers. She's come alive in the recent sets. Really putting down the gauntlet in the middle.
Yeah, Brenda Davila, she seems powerful enough to be like the Hulk or like Thanos and wield the gauntlet.
Fleming's serve, a little too short, going to be in the net. Service error once again for Berea. That number is still very respectable for a team that's trailing by a set. You would think they'd actually lead that category. But Piedmont, one of the best teams at leading in service errors. Ashcraft now back to serve. Rifled that one, Cora, good dig, and Fleming sends it over to McCullough, who keeps it alive. Herman out to Manzo. Sconyers and Manzo, just one hand a little bit too high in front of the other, and that's going to be a double by Manzo.
And now you see the you can't do that chance going back against the Lions from the Berea bench.
Getting Shirky out here in postseason
ruthless.
action. De La Torre serve, dug by Jenna Ash. Tight is the ball. Manzo kept it alive. Sconiers then hits it over to Ash, but scramble as they tried. Unfortunately, it just didn't get over to the other side. De La Torre now back to serve once again for the Mountaineers. Float serve going to be received by Ashcraft. Manzo on the full sprint. Good hustle there, and Sconiers going to keep the point alive by sending it over. Rivera slide to Davila, going to be dug by Ashcraft. Manzo now looks to Hubbard. Hubbard tight to the net, keeps it alive. Rivera sets outside to McCullough. McCullough deep ball. Good dig by Herman. Manzo now back row to Jenna Ash, who's going to get blocked by Davila. Herman out to Hubbard. Hubbard going to roll it over. Scramble point of the century here. Davila now. Good one-handed dig by Herman out to the middle of Sconiers. Sconiers going to get tipped up. Fleming now over to Rivera. McCullough on the attack. And while Kaylee Ashcraft got her hands on it, little too late.
And maybe it would have been wiser if she just let that go. Kaylee Ashcraft was dancing along that back line and having to reach up for that one. Probably would have been smart if she had just let that one go. I'm not sure either way. Magnificent rally on the floor, and right now, Berea's just riding a lot of momentum, and that ace by De La Torre is just going to open up the throttle even more.
Ashcraft, the one who couldn't receive that one. Jamie McCormack, the head coach of the Lions, not calling a timeout here. Just 3 points separate the two teams here in the fourth. De La Torre, though, has been on quite the serving streak. Ashcraft, good reception there. Back set to Sconiers, and Sconiers going to put that one down to shut down the run of the Mountaineers. Out comes Taylor Herman, in comes Jaya Weathersby.
There you go.
Little switch of the middle as Sconiers would technically be in the back row now. Coelho back for the Lions. Her serve good. De La Torre reception. Rivera back set to Davila. Davila going to be dug and then called for a net violation. Beautiful block there by the combination of Weathersby and Hubbard.
I mean, it popped up. It really popped up a cannonball pretty much up into the air. Davila brought a lot of force down on that one, but that force carried her into the net. So great job by the Lions to keep it alive, regardless of if they call it or not. But very good job for them to get the call.
Speaking of keeping it alive, beautiful dig there. Back row by Fleming, who shut down Katie Hubbard's attack, and nearly a good dig by Coelho for the Lions, but unfortunately that one just lands a bit wide. So 11-9, the Mountaineers lead here in the fourth. Back to serve is Davila. No libero for Berea. Ashcraft going to send it over to Manzo. Looks to Weathersby, and Weathersby, there's going to be a tip, as that's what I thought as well. The line judge didn't raise his flag into a tee position, so.
Yeah, it was a very close call. I thought it was tipped. I wasn't expecting Jai Weathersby to really kind of muff on that attack the way it would have been if that was the case, but Coach Dunnins for Berea is sure pleading his case, but I guess the judges have overruled that objection.
Katie Hubbard on the attack, a little too wide there. Going to hit the antenna for an attacking violation there. Outsides have slowed down a bit. Obviously, it was likely Jenna Ash wasn't going to continue the pace she was on in the first set with 7 kills, but it's really felt like both Hubbard and Ash needed a bit of a spark here in the fourth set. Manzo going to look to Weathersby in the middle, who's going to get blocked initially by Berea. Herman sends it over to Hubbard. Hubbard going to keep it alive. Cora, good dig. Rivera now out to Martin in the middle, and Martin through the hands of Ash, through the hands of Herman, and it's going to be called out of bounds.
And right now, Berea is looking to plead a case that it did go through the hands of Jenna Ash, and that her hands did in fact touch it. I'm not sure if we're going to get any kind of deliberation from the judges. It appears we will not.
It's very rare the ref will change his mind on an incorrect call. So Lady Lions now just trail by 1, 11-12 your score.
And look at this formation by Berea. 5 players in the back row as they get set for Kaylee Ashcraft, and that formation has really worked well to really snuff out the aces by Miss Acecraft.
Attack by McCullough, going to split between the combination of Ash and Weathersby. Ash, I had a TH in there for some reason. Ash and Weathersby, as that one's going to fall down. McCullough now really came alive in the last 2 sets. She's back to serve here. Herman, the one to dig it. Manzo sets out to Ashcraft. Ashcraft serve or attack going to be blocked. Rivera now back set to the lefty Fleming. Fleming's attack off the hands of Ashcraft and deep. Good tip there. And Berea, anytime the Lady Lions get close, Berea jumps out in front with a lead and a bit of a run. And head coach Shane McCormick says, I don't want to feel the deficit we felt last time, as this is around the time when the Mountaineers slowly started to pull away. So head coach Shane McCormick trying to nip it in the bud early.
This is a good time to call that timeout. You're down by 3. You've had a lot of points go back and forth, and now that we've seen back-to-back points on the side, this is a good chance to kind of take a break and step back and say, hey, we've done good. We just need to capitalize, and we just need to make these opportunities ours. We need to generate some kind of momentum and find a way to not just close in on a deficit, maybe even things up, maybe even take over, preferably. But either way, Lions need to find a way to not carry this into a set number 5. Otherwise, Berea has all the momentum.
Lady Lions have come back from bigger deficits, but this is always the most important, I would say, 10-point stretch in a set is this when the scoreline is in the teens, just because one team gets 8 out of the 10 points and all of a sudden they're really close to closing out the set. So it's crunch time here early in the 4th for the Lady Lions. They're going to try and shut down McCullough immediately and get on a run of their own. McCullough, though, hoping to continue her great serving night as she drops back. High floater going to hit Mary Grace Shaw. Manzo sets out to Ashcraft. Ashcraft on the attack. Bang! Off the shoulder of Rivera. And Kaylee Ashcraft shows she's got some pop in her swing as well. Lady Lions do just what we had hoped and shut down the run of the Mountaineers.
It's looked like Call of Duty out there with these teams. 67 total kills on the floor right now. Make it 68.
That's going to be, oh my gosh, Hannah Martin, trying to catch the first name there. Just went a little bit further right than Jessica Sconyer's block, and she's going to get herself a kill here in the 4th. Now she drops back to serve. Taylor Herman, good dig there. Manzo looking to Jenna Ash, and Jenna Ash, there she is. Welcome back to the 4th set, Jenna Ash. She grabs herself a kill, and the Lions trail by 2.
Call her Nick Walenda because she finds the line and manages to stay right on it.
Ash's serve received by De La Torre. Rivera now bump set to Fleming. Fleming is going to go over the top of Ashcraft and Sconyers. That lefty, my goodness, has she been a threat on the right side for Berea.
Oh my goodness. I mean, all of the outside hitters for Berea have been formidable. They just pack so much of a punch. And with all the firepower both of these sides have, it's just going to be punch for punch for punch.
Ashcraft's attack going to get blocked. Rivera now sets it out to De La Torre. Tight ball there. Going to be kept alive by Jenna Ash. Manzo with the back set. Cora says not today. Rivera slides it over to Davila, and Davila looked to be initially that they were going to call that Piedmont touched it, but
that was very clearly into the middle of the net from my vantage point. So that was a good call to blow that whistle there. I would have been more surprised if they didn't blow that whistle, if I'm being honest.
Absolutely. Back to serve, Kaylee Ashcraft. Attacking serve there. Cora going to keep it alive, and after a tip by Rivera.
Oh, that was very clearly in bounds. I don't know why they just lifted that flag up. And on top of that, you have the courtside official right there.
Yeah, you know what? This is where the Lady Lions need to rally. I'm going to just try and move on from that because of my distaste towards that call. But De La Torre now back to serve. Jenna Ash, good dig there. And Manzo sends it over to Sconier. Sconier is going to keep her attack alive after being shut down front row. Manzo over to Katie Hubbard. And Katie Hubbard said, you know what? You don't want to call my blocking? Fine. I'll hit the ball so hard off of the hands of a Berea Mountaineer. You can't do anything but give me the point.
Look at that. Now this student section is electrified. They need to carry this momentum because as they stay loud, the Lions stay hot.
When Cave Arena gets thumping, you know something good is happening for the Lions teams. Served by Coelho, going to be received well. Davila on the attack. Good dig by Ashcraft. Manzo looks to Weathersby in the middle. De La Torre keeps that one alive. Rivera now outside to McCullough. And McCullough going to get through Weathersby and Manzo. That combination has struggled to really shut down McCullough on the outside. Berea lead 18-15 here in the 4th. They're knocking on what would be another 2-set-to-love comeback to push it to a 5th, but as I say, that's crucial service error by Davila, gonna chop the lead to just 2. Manzo now drops back, and this is the setup I love because we have 3 hitters in that front row. It's time to get swinging.
You got more than just 3 hitters in that front row. You got Kaylee Ashcraft in the back row.
Martin, though, gonna have a unique tip there. Not really sure how she did that, but split Weathersby and Hubbard on the block. Smart touch there to shut down what could have potentially been a dangerous run for the Lions. Back to serve is Rivera. She's been active on the passing, broke 20 assists at the conclusion of the 4th set. Manzo gets it out to Ash, who's going to be kept alive by Cora. Fleming now on the right side herself, going to be dug by Jenna Ash. Manzo back set over to Katie Hubbard, who goes short on the roll. Rivera sets up Martin. Martin with that controversial attack. She's going to be given the kill there. The refs firmly believe that her hand is not on the ball long enough to be called for a throw, but Jay McCormack says, all right, time to call timeout. We got to slow down the pace. Momentum's starting to really shift towards Berea.
It really is. Now you're looking at a 4-point lead. It was flip-flopping back and forth as a 1 and 2 score lead. Then it became a 2 and 3 point lead. And it seemed to go back down, but then we saw the call that didn't really go the Lions' way. And that might be something that the CCS looks at later. I'm not very sure, and it doesn't really seem like it's going to have that much weight. But regardless, that's a momentum shifter. You're looking at cutting this down to just 1 or 2 points versus 4 right now. And that you're looking at a chance of a much higher likelihood of a possible extended set. So we'll see if that really has any kind of weight later, but either way, Lions need to find a way to generate some offense and generate some points in a hurry. They're down by 4. They need to be clean, and they need to not give up points. That's the key. Which sounds great on paper. Just don't give up points. Obviously, you win that way.
Don't give up points and win all the points, and all of a sudden you're winning 3 sets to love every single time. But sometimes there's stronger adversaries than just yourselves to deal with. And
sometimes we just make it sound way simpler than it really is.
That's our job. We simplify. We tell people what's going on.
As long as we don't oversimplify.
Rivera 5 points away from closing out the 4th sets. Back to serve for Berea. Jenna Ash on the reception. Manzo now going to look to Hubbard. Fleming keeps it alive for Berea, and Martin once again in the middle. This time kept alive by Ashcraft. Back set to Jenna Ash. Here she comes. Martin pumps it up with one fist. McCullough now on the outside off the high hands of Jenna Ash. Manzo set out to Katie Hubbard. Katie Hubbard leaned back but attempted to keep alive was De La Torre, and bada bing, bada boom, the Lions are back in this 4th.
Bada bing, bada boom is the exact phrase I would have used there, actually. I mean, wow. The one attack by Hubbard, tipped up by De La Torre. Torre just not able to get the contact solid enough to really keep it alive.
Good dig by Herman to keep that attack alive off of Martin. Mary Grace Shaw going to send it deep. De La Torre now into the hands of Rivera. Fleming on the right side, shut down by Ashcraft. De La Torre sends this one over. Jai Weathersby jumps up, reaches over and sends it over the whole top of the Berea squad. Great awareness there by the middle, Jai Weathersby, and timeout, Berea.
Oh, that was a big play by the big middle blocker up front, Jaya Weathersby, taking a 4-point deficit, cutting it in half, now down by 2. Oh my goodness, and now Coach Dunn has to call a timeout and see if he can sway the momentum back the other way for Berea. But now Piedmont closing in late. This was how the first set ended, and the Lions came out on top of that one. Lions, if they can keep this momentum rolling, we could see a 3-1 set victory and leave set number 5 back home.
One would hope that we don't head into a 5th. Of course, the Lady Lions do have the cushion in case the set doesn't go their way, but the way they're playing right now, they seem to be really aware of the situation, really tracking where the Mountaineers are on the court, and Jai Weathersby proves, hey, I don't need to have a bump set and spike to run a point. Let me just jump up and hit it over all of you, because what are you going to do, get back in time? Absolutely not. So great job there by Jai Weathersby to just continuously build the momentum. Mary Grace Shaw back to serve for the Lady Lions. They trail by 2, 18-20. Your score here inside of Cave Arena.
I mean, Giant Weathersby, she really took advantage of the moment. She took advantage of the congestion by Berea. On that play, Berea was more congested than my sinuses right now, in case you can't tell. But finding it in that perfect place, hit it where nobody else is. That is how this game works.
Very gracious Shaw, dug by De La Torre. Rivera bump set to Martin. Martin goes line, and we're going to see a attacking violation. I believe hit the antenna, maybe went outside of it. Either way, free point given to the Lady Lions. Down by one.
They're down by one.
Shaw here back to serve. Combination of Weathersby, Ashcraft, and Ash up top, but Mary Grace Shaw serve just deep there. Gonna stunt the run and momentum just a little bit.
That one was close. That one was really close, and I thought it might have touched, but my eyes could have also deceived me. I do wear contacts, so.
McCullough's super short serve gonna beat out the speed of Mary Grace Shaw. She grabs herself an ace here. Mountaineers just 3 points away from closing this set, and Jaya Weathersby, you know, went through the hands, put it mildly. It's rare a middle tries to receive a serve. It was right to her, just unfortunately a little slip up there. McCullough, such a dangerous server. Weathersby wanted to redeem herself. Manzo bumps set over to Ashcraft, excuse me. This time Rivera looks to Fleming on the right side. Lefty keeps it up. Jenna Ash got a hand on it. Herman tried to, and well, 2 seconds later, and it's now set point for Berea to push it to a fifth.
They were up by 4. They're actually up by 1. Now they're up by 5. So a 4-point rally by Berea. Lions need to get 5 unanswered points here to extend this set and avoid set number 5.
De La Torre going to roll that one over. Mary Grace Shaw finds Manzo, and Jaya Weathersby, her attack's going to go wide, and
we're going to set number 5, Simon.
After what appeared to be just a beautiful first 2 sets by the Lady Lions, they were building momentum and improving upon every error that they had in the first. They now head to a fifth with all momentum essentially against them.
Yeah, this is a scary situation, but this was how the first game against Berea went. They had the 2-0 set victory, and then they actually, no, it wasn't a 2-0 set victory. That was actually a different game, but they went to 5 sets against Berea. And this was the exact scenario where they were able to that win. Piedmont won the first 2 sets, and Berea came back to win the next 2 sets. So, and then Piedmont managed to win set number 5 by a final score of 15-13. You can't get much tighter than that. So, long story short, we've had a lot of interesting set number 5s between these 2 teams this season. Both of them have gotten the Lions' way. We'll see if third time's a charm, but I will say this. In any sport, it's very hard to beat the same opponent 3 times.
And, you know, history is on our side in the sense of just the last time we saw a 5th set between these 2 squads, Piedmont did rally in that third to be able to close out the match in 5. And look, at this point, no one's going to say it's a beautiful win, but everyone's going to say we moved on. So the Lady Lions need to just figure out what they need to do for the next 30-ish points, barring a blowout on either side. And they just have to be able to identify what they need to do here in the moment to close it out in a 5th.
And no matter what happens, whether the Lions win or lose this game, this is the last game at Cave Arena. If you are a senior, how do you want this last game to end? You want to end this game riding off on the shoulders of your teammates. End this with a W. Take this to Lookout Mountain. That's what I want to see right now. Let's end this in set number 5. Let's end this season as dramatic as possible and end it with a W. That's what I'm hoping for, at least.
Well, as the countdown drops under a minute as we head into the 5th set, it is crunch time here for both squads.
The error tallies are tight, by the way. 28 attacking errors for Berea, 24 for Piedmont. So only 4 attacking errors separating those 2 apart. The service aces, Berea's leading the way by 1 additional service ace, but 3 additional service errors for the Lions. The errors, this is where they're really coming into play.
You're absolutely right, and serve receive has been one of the biggest, just serving in general, whether it be serving or serve receive, has been an area of concern for the Lions, because when they're in a point, they're very dangerous. When they're in system, they're so scary as an attacking squad, but the problem is there are moments where they just struggle to get into points, whether that's them serving it into the net /long, or it's on the other end where they just cannot dig a certain player's serve. We saw a couple runs, one by De La Torre and one by McCullough in that fourth set to really separate Berea from the Lady Lions in that fourth. So if there's one thing I really want to see here in this fifth set, of course it's condensed to the first of 15, win by 2. I just want to see them get every point started. I don't want to see any service or return errors. And I think if they sharpen that, they're in a really good position to close it out in 5.
Let's see how this goes. This is about to get really dicey, and it's about to get really interesting. And if the previous set number 5s have told us anything, it's going to be close, and it's going to be exciting, and it's about to get loud here in Cave Arena.
And the tickets weren't cheap to join us here in the Mize, free admission, so you're getting your money's worth if you're a fan.
You're getting more than your money's worth, I'll say that.
Manzo's going to get this fifth set underway here inside of Cave Arena. McCullough, the first attack for Berea. Good dig by Herman, keeps it alive. Manzo, back set to Jenna Ash. Katie Hubbard, good hustle there. Manzo's going to get underneath it to find Ashcraft on the outside, and Ashcraft gets the fifth set underway the right way by rifling it at Rivera, who could not keep the point alive.
Absolute bullet into the mouth of that Mountaineers defense.
Manzo's serve received by McCullough. Rivera now looking to find Martin. Martin going to touch Weathersby and nearly kept alive by a diving Taylor Herman. Unfortunately, it's a little too far out of reach. Good point and good start by both squads in just the first two. McCullough, the one who closed out the fifth set for Berea, back to serve here. Ash finds Manzo, Ashcraft goes to Manzo, who goes to Ashcraft. I'm mixing up the two here in the front row, but Herman going to keep this alive to Manzo, who looks to Weathersby, and Weathersby once again on that tight angle, a little too short.
A little swing and a miss. It's very difficult when you have the tight set and you barely have it going very far out, because the middle blockers, they're right there.
Manzo tight to the net, going to send it over. De La Torre going to move it. Manzo now trying to set up Ashcraft on the opposite side. Ashcraft tight angle, going to be kept alive by Cora Rivera. Now looking to Fleming. Fleming touched by a couple of Lions here. Ashcraft going to be super tight to the net, kept alive by the Lions. My goodness. Herman going to...
They're going to say that was too many touches on our side.
Which... We're gonna just go here. It blows my mind because the ball can't come back from no one. So it touched the blocker's hands, and head referee just did not see the contact, I guess, and that's gonna be a point to Berea. Manzo goes opposite to Jenna Ash. Jenna Ash gonna be shut down, and Martin on the quick tip. Ash says, thank you very much. Manzo now looks to Ashcraft on the outside spot. Rivera to Fleming. Fleming now going to touch the net. Herman, good dig there. Katie Hubbard in the back row going to send this one over. Fleming, Rivera. Now De La Torre from the back row. Good attack there. And Berea have come alive from being down 2-0. Good start here in the fifth.
My goodness, the Mountaineers are mounting up a comeback. One miraculous comeback after another, and that is just to find the Mountaineer season so far.
Good attack there by Jenna Ash. Finally going to shut down McCullough. If we combine both their serve, I believe that's about a 7-point service run for McCullough for Berea. So good to get her out of the serving spot. Serving for now for the Lions. Ashcraft, deep serve, just sails long. Thought that one had the chance to drop. Fortunately, a little too much airtime there.
Oh my goodness. Maybe I need to start taking some anxiety medicine right about now, because my goodness, this is getting really, really crazy.
Fleming tools it off of Hubbard. That's going to be another kill for Berea, and with the short set and just the score to 15 to get to looming, head coach Katie McCormack's going to call her first time out here in the fifth to try and slow down the game a little bit. You know, the Lady Lions came out firing in that first point, and then afterward have lost 7 of the last 8 points, or 6 of the last 7 points. Math is fun.
Lions trail by 4 right now, so they're trailing by a healthy enough margin to cause concern here in set number 5. Good call here by Coach McCormack to take a timeout here and just see if we can turn something around here. This is It's very scary to try to come back from a very early deficit like this in set number 5.
And the thing is, it's not that the Lions are really doing anything wrong, it's that the Mountaineers are red hot. I mean, this is the best start to a 5th set that they have been playing, so Mountaineers are just trying to ride the wave that they're on, and the Lions are trying to stunt that as quickly as possible. You do have the attackers you want in the front row, Jenna Ash most notably, and Vanessa Manzo is up top as well, so there's a chance for her to dump one over. But yeah, Lady Lions really need to recover quick. Not as much time to sit in these lulls and these dips of momentum as Hannah Martin drops back for the Berea Mountaineers to serve here. Her float serve going to be short. Taylor Herman gets that one with ease. Vanessa Manzo back set to Jenna Ash. Shut down initially by the Mountaineers, and a miscommunication between Ashcraft and Hubbard results in another point for the Mountaineers.
Oh, that one's going to hurt. Hubbard was in perfect position there, and Ashcraft just flying in. The miscommunication sending the ball awry. If Ashcraft just held off a little bit, who knows, might have set up something good. And now we're already at the halfway point, and now Berea switches sides, and the Lions, they trailed by 6, and the Mountaineers need 7 to close out set number 5. Student section trying to get loud and back these ladies up, but this is a very tall order for Piedmont right now.
The lead is increasing, and if there's one thing to take away, yeah, it's a shorter set, but the way they've been playing, the team they're facing, Berea, is still halfway to getting there. They're not even really that close as it feels, so the Piedmont Lions still have time to recover here. Short set by Hannah Martin once again, this time dug by Jenna Ash, who's going to get on the attack. Dug by McCullough, great job there, sent back over to the Piedmont side. Jenna Ash tight once again, good dig by Fleming. Davila now on the tip. Harriman keeps it up for the Lions. Hubbard now on the outside, blocked by the front row of Berea. Manzo back set to Jenna Ash, who puts it in front of Berea. And Berea nearly kept that one going too. A plethora of blocks on both sides, but the Lions come out on top.
And now we see the point, possibly momentum shift. The Lions are getting loud. This is a chance for the Lions to make a stand here.
Herman serve, received by McCullough. Rivera looks to De La Torre. Short, tight tip there is going to be dug up by Jenna Ash. Davila now on the angle. Going to drop in just past the 10-foot line, and Berea shuts down any sense of a momentum shift here as the Mountaineers are just 6 points away from advancing to the CCS semifinals.
The official marked that one in. That one was really, really close.
Good dig there by Herman. Manzo back sets to Ash. A little too much there. Initial dig by Berea kept alive. Herman keeps this one up. Manzo looks back to Jenna Ash again. Off the top hands, Fleming keeps it in for Berea. De La Torre now on the attack. Blocked by a combination of Sconiers and Ash. Back row is McCullough. McCullough a little bit too short there, and that ball is going to sail into the net. Lady Lions, just their 4th point of the 5th set, but they're starting to play a little bit better.
And now Jenna Ash, all she has to do is just continue to get this ball over and hopefully just have it result in a run. Another attacking error for Berea. Back-to-back points for the Lions.
Davila is such a threat on that slide set as we see a timeout here for the Mountaineers. But yeah, Davila has gotten a couple of kills off of that situation. One of them, I believe, was in the 4th set, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been the 3rd, where she was on a full sprint to the sideline and threw her arm over the head, and it cleared the front row of the Lady Lions. That time, though, a little bit too late on contact, going to go into the net. So Lady Lions slowly building here. They're looking a bit better. Herman, we can't say enough about her and how much of an impact she's had, not just this game, not just this season, but in her entire collegiate career here at Piedmont University. She has been incredible for the back row of the Lady Lions defense, and she's just been a machine keeping points alive, and they're really going to need her to keep that up if they want to make a comeback here in the 5th.
Herman has been the absolute, you said it before, anchor, and that is the perfect word, anchor for this back row. She is the last line of defense, and she is, oh my goodness, she is about as strong of a defensive specialist as you can find. She gets that shovel in the ground, and she keeps the dirt up, leaves no specks of dirt coming off that shovel.
Speaking of Herman, she keeps the point going. Manzo now looks to Hubbard. Hubbard One of the most powerful attacks we've seen all day. Katie Hubbard puts that one down for another kill. I believe that is kill. Let's find her really quick. Kill number 13 for Katie Hubbard. She's come alive here in the postseason. Rivera now looks to the swing of Davila. Dug up by Katie Hubbard. Manzo goes to Sconiers, the Orlando native, and Sconiers puts it down. Cave Arena's getting active here. Momentum definitely shifted to the Piedmont University Lions.
I know I need to stay impartial, but let's go. This is so exciting. Lions, they were down by as much as 6. Now they trail by 3. Actually, no, 2. A chance to really close things in. And my goodness, I don't know if it's just that side of the court or what it is, but oh my goodness, this is going to be really, really breathtaking, really hard stopping.
Davila's tip initially kept up by Herman, but that attack by Katie Hubbard going to get shut down by Santana, who's back into the game alongside McCullough. So going to quickly try and figure out who's no longer in the front row for Berea. Not able to see just yet, but De La Torre, one of the players who's on quite the run for Berea, now back to serve. Katie Hubbard on the attack, goes at De La Torre. Back set, Torres tipped up. Manzo keeps it up. Herman now looks to find Katie Hubbard. Katie Hubbard going to roll it over for McCullough to keep it alive. Torres back set to Santana. Santana's attack going to be tipped up here. Manzo deep set there, trying to catch the team off guard. Not to be, and Davila says thank you very much for the free ball as she slams that one into the ground of the Lady Lions side.
I mean, that was devious. Devilish even. Oh my goodness. That was just filthy. Finding such an open gap in that back row.
And what felt like all momentum going towards the Lady Lions side is now
snuffed out like that, feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. It was 9-7 in 2 seconds after a good kill, a couple of kills rather, by Berea. It's now 11-7. The Mountaineers lead just 4 points away from a miraculous postseason comeback against the Lady Lions. It's like the universe was trying to give us the script during the regular season that they would go to 5, and we just hope the script holds up here with the Lady Lions closing it out in 5, as they've done both times when they faced Berea this season.
It is now or never. You're down by 4, and your opponent needs 4 to close out the set, to close out the match, and to close out your season. This is do or die. And fortunately for the Lions, they have their home squad backing them up here.
Lady Lions going to definitely need to rally toward the Cave Arena faithful here. Back to serve is De La Torre for the Mountaineers. Her serve going to be good, received by Jenna Ash. Manzo looks back to Katie Hubbard. Manzo keeps it up here. Herman now asked to set up her teammates. Back to Katie Hubbard, the ball goes. Cora finds Torres, who finds McCullough on the attack. Herman, good dig there. Katie Hubbard now on the outside is going to go for a swing. 3 attacks, 3 Katie Hubbard swings, 1 kill for the sophomore. Great job there by Katie Hubbard to close out a huge point there.
That was a powerhouse attack off of the defensive specialists for Berea and sent back behind the bench. Good luck tracking that one down.
Mary Grace Shaw in to serve for the Lions. Davila on the attack, kept alive by the Lions. This time, Kaylee Ashcraft, good roll there, but Cora, good cover. McCullough now tips it over the side of Vanessa Manzo, and that short corner over Manzo has been abused this entire game.
Berea, 3 points away from 3 unanswered winning sets. They not only have slammed the broom cabinet door shut, they're looking to go on their own kind of reverse sweep of their own and close out the Lions season at home.
McCullough's attack at a drop in. Line judge believes it caught the back line. Hard to see from our vantage point. Regardless, Berea closing in on a 5th set victory here. Davila back to serve. Mary Grace Shaw, good dig there. Manzo back set to Sconiers, and Sconiers going to send it deep. And all of a sudden, it's do or die here for the Lady Lions, a team that was up 2 sets to love, a team that won the 2nd set by a score of 11. And now they face essentially 6 match points here. Davila's first serve goes up top, and McCullough is going to shut the door on the Lions season. Berea an incredible 2-sets-to-love comeback away from their home court, is going to move on to the CCS semifinals to likely play Covenant.
And just like that, the air just gets sucked out of Cave Arena. We discussed it's hard to beat the same opponent 3 times in one season. Berea had come up just short in those first 2 games, but they won the one that mattered here in the playoffs, here at the Cave. 4 years I have seen the Lions regular season and postseason end at Cave Arena. And you can see the emotion from those senior players that they really wish they could have really closed out their season with a win here in Cave Arena one last time. I've seen these seniors play their entire careers here.
It is absolutely heartbreaking scenes here for any fan of really volleyball, for that matter, just because you can sympathize if you're a fan of a Berea Mountaineer, just how emotional your final game is for any sport. And to go out in that fashion is just nails on a chalkboard, really, if you're a Lions fan. So tough way to close out the women's volleyball season here at Piedmont University. It's really hard to break down what was feeling to be a beautiful start to the postseason campaign for the Lions is now turned into an early exit in the tournament. And, well, Matt, I don't know if you have anything else, but I'm at a loss for words here.
All I can say is what a season. This was... never have I watched a Piedmont volleyball season in my 4 years of covering them. Have I been so excited for what they could have done this year. And I'm so proud of how hard they have worked. Taylor Herman has had so many accolades over her career. Brooklyn Gunn's been an outstanding setter. Destiny Dietz has been such a formidable middle blocker. Manjo has grown so much. Ash has been countlessly reliable and just such a incredible. She has such an artillery, and just seeing the talent that these teams have had for so many years and seeing them really go out there, just to have seen them done this for the past 4 years, I just feel so privileged and so blessed to have seen this team grow and develop over the past 4 years. And it kind of stinks to know that I'm not calling any more volleyball games after that.
Yeah, as you said, you grew up, and by grew up, I mean spent your last 4 years here with the 4 seniors that we saw graduate or will be graduating in May of this year. We're going to say some goodbye to some big names.
Yeah.
Mary Grace Shaw, a huge substitution who played back row, of course. Not most notably, but one of the bigger names, Taylor Herman, who just was and has been electric for the last 4 years. Diggs leader in NCAA last year.
Top 10 in program history and career Diggs for the Lions as well. And she still has a 5th-year option, so there's a potential that she could come back next season. She has a big decision on her shoulders going into the offseason, so we'll see if we see more Taylor Herman. But as for the rest of those players that we've mentioned, we're not going to see them ever touch floor on this court again, and that's so sombering because they have been so talented. They have brought their talents and their skill to this hardwood every single day, every single night. And what more can you say? Piedmont volleyball has been. It was the first sport that I ever got to work here. It was the first game I got to work here. I got to produce, and it was the first game that I ever got to put the headset on for. And I was a color commentator in my first game. And I got to be a color commentator for my last game. So knowing how everything has just come full circle is, oh my gosh, it is so crazy and so wild. And my goodness, I'm so blessed to have worked with this program for this long. And again, just such a credit to the senior players, man. They have worked tirelessly, and I know this game did not end the way they wanted it to, but they can walk out of this arena with their heads held high, knowing that they really gave their blood, sweat, and tears on this floor for 3 to 4 good years at this fine institution.
You're absolutely right, and it was a good season to reflect upon. Obviously not the postseason anyone here was hoping for, but they do finish their year 14-16 overall, 11-6 in conference play, so it's a good record in conference, something you bring momentum into the next season, but well, for this season, that's all said and done. I don't think I have anything else to add, Matt, unless you want to give some final thoughts.
Watch out for Kaylee Ashcraft. She's going to be really, really freaking good. I'd use different words, but I'm not allowed to say them with a microphone in front of my mouth. But keep an eye on her, man. She is going to be absolutely dynamite. And Katie Hubbard and Jaya Weathersby, Jessica Sconyers, they're going to do outstanding. And that's going to wrap things up, and I see you gesturing for me to close this out. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here for what has been the Piedmont women's volleyball season for 2023. Thank you for joining us from Cave Arena. God bless you all. And one more time to all of the amazing Lions faithful, good night from Cave Arena.